He's a lad from Portugal, better than Figo, don't you know? Oh, his name is Diogo. Jota has signed a new deal, and भाई और बहनों, he stays at Liverpool till 2027. नया long term contract sign किया है. 5 year deal Jota ने sign किया. निधि, what are your first thoughts, brother? कैसा है तू, पहली बात?
My first thoughts are better than Figo, don't you know? Oh, his name is Diogo. क्या chant है यार उसका. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. He is one of those players that जिस जो ना थोड़ा थोड़ा under the radar चला गया है because of Salah का deal and Luis Diaz का explosion and all those things. But क्या प्लेयर है यार. आई एम तो वेरी एक्साइटेड विद डियोगो जोटास एक्सटेंशन. मैं बस ट्वीट कर रहा हूँ अपने
हाँ
अकाउंट से.
हाँ 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 हाँ, कर दे. मतलब
तुम
मैं,
बोल.
हाँ मतलब मैं जब भी देख रहा था कि आई वाज ट्राइंग टू फाइंड कि उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का लेंथ कितना बड़ा है, बिकॉज लिवरपूल ने ट्वीट किया था कि नया लॉन्ग टर्म डील जोटा हैज साइंड. वो आर्टिकल में लिखा नहीं था कब तक, फिर मैंने नील जोन्स का ट्वीट देखा 2027 तक है, विच आई थिंक इज ग्रेट न्यूज ब्रो, लाइक ग्रेट ग्रेट न्यूज फॉर लिवरपूल. और निधि, वो सिर्फ 25 साल का है यार अभी तक, मतलब so more 5 years of Jota, the best years of his life with Liverpool, man. ये कॉमन ट्रेंड देख रहे हैं हम लोग कि
हाँ भाई.
लोग अभी प्लेयर्स अपने बेस्ट years हमें दे रहे हैं.
तो भाई मतलब बेसिकली वही है ना. सी यू आर. I mean, we get players like that now. We get players that are here for the long term, that are going to be helping us, committed to the project. हम उस तरह के प्लेयर साइन कर रहे हैं. एंड सबसे अच्छी बात है बॉस की यार मतलब these are players that हम जिस हालत में थे, we not a very long time ago, जब players ये condition में आते थे and they were rated, they would start looking elsewhere. अभी
हाँ
ऐसा नहीं है. They are looking at us and okay saying this is where I want to be. So you have Van Dijk, you have Robertson, Trent, Jota now, Luis Diaz. These are like really really well rated players. सब लोग पसंद करते हैं इनको. ऐसा नहीं है कि इनकी डिमांड नहीं है मार्केट में. एंड येट दे आर कमिटिंग देयर लॉन्ग टर्म फ्यूचर. तो ये तो यार मतलब दिस इज टेस्टामेंट. आई मीन कि मतलब यर्गन क्लॉप ने बदल दिया है क्लब को.
हाँ. एक और थिंग, जैसे तूने अंडर द रेडार बोला ना, मतलब मैं ये मेंशन करना चाहता हूँ, लास्ट सीजन जोटा ने 21 गोल मारे थे. मतलब वो, आई डोंट थिंक इट इज स्पोकन अलॉट. काफी लोग ये भी बोले कि एट द एंड ऑफ द सीजन वो थोड़ा टेल डाउन कर गया, बट तो भी उसने 21 गोल मारे, बहुत बड़ी बात है, बहुत बड़ी बात है हमारे सिस्टम में. और निधि, लाइक एक और चीज बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग ये है कि आई थिंक जोटा नोज दैट वो हर एक गेम नहीं खेलेगा, स्टार्ट करेगा. स्टिल इतना लंबा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन कर रहा है, विच इज आई थिंक अ ग्रेट साइन, बिकॉज एट द मोमेंट 5 अटैकर्स है. ओके. एंड जोटा ऑल्सो नोज कि साला तो हर एक गेम खेलेगा, न्यूनेस भी खेलेगा, बहुत बड़ा साइनिंग है, लुइस डियाज है, सो ही नोज दैट ही इज नॉट अ starter in every game. Of course, he's going to start his fair share of games, but keeping that in mind, still he's signed of a 5 year deal. I think वो epic है bro.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल भाई लोग देखो, गाली गलौच मत करो. ठीक है. दैट इज नंबर वन. अगली एक बार बोल रहा हूँ, अगली बार करोगे सीधा ब्लॉक करूंगा. तो डोंट डोंट अब्यूज. राइट. सेकेंडली, मानस का क्वेश्चन अबाउट डियोगो जोटा. आई थिंक दैट यार, आई थिंक बट तू जो बोल रहा है ना वो साला को छोड़ के, आई थिंक दैट अप्लाइज टू एवरीवन. एवरीवन नोज दैट दे आर नॉट गोइंग
निधि,
टू
तेरा
स्टार्ट.
वॉइस एको हो रहा है.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, वो मैंने ठीक किया है. होपफुली अभी नहीं हो रहा हो. मैंने कुछ
ओके
चेंजेस किए
ओके
हैं.
ओके.
तो यू नो अभी अगली बार अगर आई थिंक मोस्ट पीपल नो दैट एक्सेप्ट साला उनका पोजीशन विल बी प्लेड अराउंड. एंड दैट्स अ गुड थिंग. दैट्स अ गुड थिंग. इफ यू लुक एट टीम्स जो बड़ी बड़ी जो बड़े टीम्स है वगैरह, उनके साथ ऐसा रहा है कि प्लेयर्स कीप चेंजिंग देयर पोजीशंस एटसेट्रा. राइट. तो मजा आएगा. मतलब इट इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. क्या हो गया.
है. नहीं नहीं, लाला का कमेंट देखा, इट्स झोटा नॉट जोटा, जोटा,
Yeah.
जैसे लाला बोलते हैं ना जोटा।
पंजाबी
तो
में जोटा बोलते हैं।
लाला अपने अपने ही he's taking the piss at himself, which I think is good.
हम्म।
Yeah, so वही है कि जोटा knows for a matter of fact वो हर एक गेम नहीं खेलेगा and start नहीं करेगा, and the fact that he's willing to commit, यार I'm very very happy with what is happening in our club. But Nidhi, does this mean maybe the end of Firmino, last year of Firmino? No, because कोई आसपास Firmino ने तो बोल दिया है कि he wants to stay, वो रहना
हम्म।
चाहता है, but कोई टॉक नहीं आ रही ना, भाई केटा की बात आ रही है, बट
आई
फर्मिनो का
होप
कोई
नॉट।
रूमर नहीं आ रहा।
आई होप नॉट। आई थिंक फर्मिनो का रूमर इसलिए भी नहीं आ रहा है क्योंकि अभी वी आर सॉर्टिंग आउट फ्यू डील्स व्हिच आर प्रायोरिटी। जैसे जोटा की तो बात हो ही रही थी, और इसकी अभी जैसे नाबी केटा इज अनदर नेम दैट इज बीइंग टॉक्ड अबाउट। आई थिंक दैट इज द रीजन why I personally feel that Klopp would want to keep Firmino, but again it all depends. For example, मान ले यार कि Firmino बोलेगा कि I want to play regularly. So that is something that's a that is something that is that has to be considered, and वो बोलनी पड़ेगी, ठीक है। तो बिल्कुल आई थिंक फर्मिनो के लिए यार देख, it is a little complicated for Bobby because he's not his role is going to get reduced. तो ऐसा हो सकता है कि हम देखें कि बॉबी नेक्स्ट ईयर ही ट्राइज टू मूव ऑन और दैट काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग। निधि भाई, केटा डील कब अनाउंस होगी यार? अभी तक किसी ट्रस्टवर्दी जर्नलिस्ट में मैंने देखा नहीं है केटा के बारे में बात करते हुए। बट आई थिंक इट इज किसी ने बोला, आई थिंक नील जोन्स ने शायद बोला था कि केटा एंड जोटा, दीज आर द टू डील्स दैट लिवरपूल इज वर्किंग ऑन राइट नाउ। तो आई थिंक I think we might hear an update very soon. मानस तो क्या बोलता है? म्यूट पे है। You're on mute.
सॉरी सॉरी, या भड़क मत।
मेरे को लगा कुछ
अ,
हुआ नहीं।
नाबी केटा का जो भी मैंने दो तीन लोग से बात किया, वो लोग यही बोल रहे थे कि उसको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफर किया है,
नेविगेटर को।
ऐसे मेरे सुनने में आया कि उसको ऑफर कर दिया है, मतलब या उसको वो भी बोल दिया है कि वी वांट यू टू स्टे, नेगोशिएशन शुरू होगा। अ, मेरे हिसाब से आई वुड वांट नाबी टू स्टे।
You're mute on again, dude.
आई
You're on
थिंक
mute
हमें
again.
वन ऑफ, क्या?
You're on mute again. Like you
नो,
went on mute.
ओके
हाँ,
ओके,
mute हो गए थे।
वियर्ड। कुछ किया नहीं था मैंने। आई थिंक नाबी को पता रहेगा वो हर एक गेम नहीं स्टार्ट करेगा, अगर कीपिंग दैट इन माइंड वी आर एबल टू गिव हिम a 3 year deal or something, I think it will be great. नाबी का मेरे को बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग ये लगता है निधि, अगर नाबी कीटा को हम लोग डील देंगे ना, जैसे जोटा को दिया अभी 2027 तक, नाबी कीटा को आई डोंट सी हिम गेटिंग दैट बिग अ डील इफ ही गेट्स अ डील। आई थिंक 2025 तक टाइप नाबी को शायद से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिलेगा। आई डोंट एग्जैक्टली नो हाउ ओल्ड इज नाबी कीटा, बट मेरे हिसाब से इवन इफ ही गेट्स अ डील वो प्रोबेबली 2025 तक टाइप होगा। आई गेट दैट फीलिंग, आई कुड बी रॉन्ग, बट मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है।
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Navigator gets इतना लंबा deal. I agree, and I think we will assess Nabi till a few more months. I personally feel that Nabi Keita को अगर नया deal मिलना भी हुआ तो we might see it closer to October, November, that kind of a thing, closer to January when he would be free to talk to other clubs. That's when I think that might happen because we have to see, like see, personally, I'm in favor of giving Nabi a new deal because otherwise you're chopping and changing a bit too much.
Too
Because
much,
Milner
yeah.
most probably will move on after this season, right? Henderson को धीरे धीरे उसको phase out करना पड़ेगा. I also think that you have other players that we're going to lose, not lose, but there are young players etc. तो मतलब I think that केटा को भी अगर उसमें हमने जाने दिया तो फिर suddenly you need two midfielders, and that is a problem to getting two midfielders who fit into your system. So I think logically speaking, um, I think it would make sense to give Navigator a new deal, and I think that will end up happening. Although I don't see that happening immediately.
बट जोटा की निधि, लाइक जोटा की बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग, आई थिंक डार्विन न्यूनेस भी 2027 तक है,
Hmm.
जोटा भी 2027 तक है, आई थिंक लुइस डियाज 2026 तक है और साला 2025 तक है।
Hmm.
तो हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि फ्रंट लाइन सिक्योर हो गई है, आई थिंक सेंटर बैक सिक्योर हो गए हैं, गोमेज और कोनाटे लॉन्ग टर्म,
Hmm.
ट्रेंट भी 2025 तक है इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, रोबो का भी 24 तक टाइप से, वो शायद से एरिया सिक्योर करना पड़ेगा। तो आई थिंक फ्रंट थ्री या अटैक योर्गन क्लॉप ने कोर सॉर्ट कर दिया नेक्स्ट 2 साल के लिए एटलीस्ट, साला को भी गिनेंगे अगर 25 तक, सो
Hmm.
वो एरिया आई थिंक इज सॉर्टेड फॉर द नेक्स्ट फ्यू सीजंस। या डेविड मैन जोटा इज वेरी वेरी अंडररेटेड, 21 गोल मारा यार लास्ट सीजन, आई मीन, एंड
Yeah.
ज्यादा खेला भी नहीं, लाइक बिकॉज लुइस डियाज आ गया था, माने सेंट्रली खेलने लगा, जोटा इंजर्ड भी हो गया, सो अनबिलीवेबली अनबिलीवेबली अंडररेटेड।
यार देखो, see, first of all, I think you guys should all head to David's channel and subscribe to him. That's the number one thing. But yeah, totally underrated. A few comments have come, which I'll take.
या
What was your first reaction when Jota signed for Liverpool? In Wolves, his numbers were not that good, and he was always eclipsed by Jimenez. यार देखो, तो जोटा क्लियरली हमारा सेकंड चॉइस था. आवर फर्स्ट चॉइस वाज वर्नर, जो कि लाइप्जिग ने अपफ्रंट पैसा मांगा और हमने नहीं दिया. वो बहुत क्लियर सी बात थी. I mean, and Werner also wanted to come to Liverpool, but since that didn't happen, Werner ended up going to Chelsea. And see, you're right in the sense that he was not a big name. But हमको ये because we had seen Klopp work his magic with players like Robertson, with players like Gini Wijnaldum who came from Newcastle, with players all over the Mane from Southampton, etc. Right? I think we were very confident. But yeah, I get what you're trying to say. But I didn't feel underconfident with Jota because the quality was always there.
हाँ, और जोटा का साइनिंग एकदम आउट ऑफ द ब्लू था, इफ यू रिमेम्बर, सब शोशा थियागो के ऊपर था, एंड 1 या 2 दिन लेटर बूम एक और साइनिंग और वो जोटा था। नो वन एक्सपेक्ट, किसी ने सोचा नहीं था ये होगा। आई थिंक दोपहर या शाम को कोई रिपोर्टर ने बोला कि जोटा के टर्म्स लिवरपूल आर वेरी क्लोज टू साइनिंग जोटा, रात तक वो वीडियो आ गया था, हाउ आर वी या व्हाट्स हैपनिंग, कुछ तो दोनों में से एक था, बिकॉज आई थिंक हाउ आर वी वाज थियागो एंड व्हाट्स हैपनिंग ये जोटा बोला था। आई वाज लाइक ये
Hmm.
क्या हो गया, बट आई वाज कॉन्फिडेंट कि जोटा ठीक ठाक ही करेगा, बिकॉज रिक्रूटमेंट हमारा हैज बीन अमेजिंग एंड एविडेंट रहा है व्हाट वी हैव सीन एंड व्हाट वी हैव अचीव्ड। आई एम होपिंग दैट मोर गोल्स टू कम। अभी तो जोटा फिलहाल इंजर्ड भी है,
Hmm.
he has to come back from his hamstring injury। थोड़ा निधि देखो, थोड़ा थोड़ा इंजरी प्रोन लगता है। इज इट करेक्ट टू से दैट जोटा इज प्रोन अ निगल और टू?
Yes, he is. He is. But I think that थोड़ा वो I think last season क्या हुआ ना, his position was also altered because क्या हुआ कि Mane started playing centrally and he started doing rather well, and ये injured था, in and out of team था, तो उसके वजह से भी थोड़ा फर्क पड़ा है. तो I think that injury उसका एक concern है, but यार उसके इंजरीज हमने ये भी तो देखे हैं ना कि थोड़े इम्पैक्ट वाले रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल दैट लॉन्ग इंजरी दैट ही incurred against what was that मिचलिन के साथ, जो लंबा इंजरी उसका
मिचेलैंड,
हुआ.
हाँ हाँ
हाँ,
हाँ।
तो वो तो जबरदस्ती खेला था वो मैच में, तो वो सब चीजें भी हैं. बट या थोड़ा इंजरी कंसर्न तो है उसका, बट आई थिंक हिज टैलेंट मेक्स इट अप. निधि भाई, डू यू थिंक बर्नार्डो गोइंग टू बारसा वुड बी अ बिग हेल्प टू सिटी सीजन? देखो यार, फराज, इसमें दो चीजें हैं. Bernardo Silva is a fantastic player. I don't think he is going to City. I don't think Pep will let him go unless Bernardo really makes it difficult for City to keep him. um, वो सबसे बड़ी बात है. दूसरी बात, if you lose a player like Bernardo Silva, obviously आपको फर्क पड़ेगा. मतलब it's not, he's one of the big reasons why City won the title last season. So if you lose a player like Bernardo Silva, obviously it will make a huge difference. Having said so, Manchester City has won titles where Kevin De Bruyne has been missing.
Yeah,
ठीक है, for long periods of time. तो
that's so true.
बिग एल का मुझे पता नहीं. इट विल बी अ बिग मिस फॉर श्योर, बट I think City are more than capable of handling even if he leaves. That's how I would like to put it.
True that.
Manas, ये question तू ले. Can Jota be role be like Origi? I think Jota is second striker like. नहीं यार, I think Jota
Jota is SS like मतलब?
second striker I think
Uh, नहीं
behind
नहीं
the
नहीं,
striker.
जोटा का रोल ओरिगी जैसा बिल्कुल नहीं हो सकता. ओरिगी वॉज वेरी, आई वोंट से अंडर यूटिलाइज, बिकॉज देखो हमारे लिए तो ओरिगी कल्ट हीरो है, बट ओरिगी was not a, I mean I love Origi, but the reason why he didn't start many games is because he was not a Jurgen Klopp player through and through. He was a great option यार. Origi was a great option. अगर वो Jurgen Klopp का proper player होता वो ज्यादा खेलता. वो सीधी सी बात है. Jota is actually a massive signing जो Jurgen Klopp has made. टीमो वर्नर का alternative है. 21 गोल मारा है. 21 गोल एक ही सीजन में मारा है, जो आई थिंक ओरिगी ने कभी नहीं किया. तो जोटा का रोल बहुत डिफरेंट है. जोटा कैन एक्सपेक्ट टू स्टार्ट हाफ ऑफ द गेम्स, आई फील. एंड ऑफ द बेंच, सो जोटा इज बेस्ट थिंग. क्या होता है ना, कभी कभी मेरे हिसाब से निधि, आई डोंट नो वेदर यू एग्री विद दिस और नॉट, कोई कोई लोग ना जब भी वो स्टार्ट करते हैं बहुत ही इफेक्टिव होते हैं, नॉट दैट इफेक्टिव कमिंग ऑफ द बेंच. जोटा दोनों अच्छा करता है. ऑफ द बेंच भी उसका इम्पैक्ट अच्छा रहता है. और जोटा के जो एरियल एबिलिटी है ना, अमेजिंग भाई, अमेजिंग अमेजिंग अमेजिंग. नाउ वी हैव legit two players who can score headers from open play, that is Darwin Núñez and Jota. So exciting. I think Jota का रोल बहुत ही अलग है.
Agreed, बिल्कुल. एक और क्वेश्चन है, कैन यू एक्सप्लेन और जस्ट गिव एन आइडिया व्हाट डबल पिवट और सिंगल पिवट इज. देखो देवेश, क्या होता है ना फुटबॉल में, व्हेन यू हैव योर मिडफील्ड सेटअप, तो जैसे मान लो कि हमारे में फेबिनियो है. दिस इज नॉट टू से दैट वी प्ले विथ, लेट मी गेट समथिंग राइट. दिस डज नॉट मीन दैट वी प्ले विथ a single pivot or a double pivot all the time, right? तो सिंगल पिवट में क्या होता है कि दिस इज योर डिफेंसिव मिडफील्डर, right? And he is directing your entire, so for example when he wins the ball and he directs it, your team or your style of play moves to this particular side. So pivot का मतलब क्या होता है, दरवाजे में pivot लगा होता है ना, तो उसके वो जहां घूमता है दरवाजा वहीं घूमता है. When you have a double pivot, what you can do is you can turn in two directions, right? That's what a double pivot does. So pivot is basically आपके midfield में like an anchor point, जहां से आपका play dictate हो रहा है. play कौन सा मतलब, आप वहां से आगे कैसे जा रहे हो, या फिर while defending how are you going behind from that particular thing. That's what a pivot is. With a single pivot what happens is you have, there's one person controlling movements. इसमें आपको generally single pivot के साथ you'll see things like fullbacks making those runs, or in this particular direction, or people going straight, and then this guy, your single pivot guy, making these kind of passes, right? Or this kind of passes, straight passes or diagonal balls, that kind of thing. Double pivot में क्या होता है, we used to play double pivot with Mascherano and Alonso. Double pivot में क्या होता है कि you have two players and then there is a third player which used to be Gerrard, another midfielder. See, this white pencil is basically Gerrard. तो वो क्या होता था कि वहां पे you have these two players who are dictating the play, breaking up, etc. And यहाँ पे Gerrard is going after Torres and he is drifting wide, right? This is remaining in attacking transitions. ये दोनों रह रहे हैं यहाँ पे, and Gerrard is drifting wide इधर उधर, and these two guys are basically providing your support, maintenance बोलते हैं midfield में एक चीज को, support, maintenance, stability, whatever you want to call it. That's the biggest difference between a double pivot, a single pivot, and that's the role of a pivot in a midfield. I hope I have answered your question.
I think at the moment now, best double pivot मेरे हिसाब से is Kimmich and Goretzka.
Correct. I agree.
आप मेरे हिसाब से वो दो, और तूने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से एक्सप्लेन करनी थी, मेरे हिसाब से वो दो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट हैं एंड दे आर द बेस्ट एट द मोमेंट प्रॉबेबली. अगर आपको कोई और लगता है प्लीज लिखिए कमेंट सेक्शन में. और जस्ट ट्राइंग टू थिंक बिकॉज मड्रिड का भी कैसेमीरो एक is the defensive midfielder, others do the job. I think Kimmich और Goretzka good examples हैं. अगर आपको कोई और लगता है so please let us know in the comments. It's a very well detailed explanation by Nidhi about the system.
Thank you, Devesh. Apur says, I think along with Bernardo's situation, it will also depend on how healthy Haaland stays and how quickly him and Alvarez adapt to the Premier League. On an average, Haaland misses third of his games. Yeah, yeah. एक मानस में पता है, मैं कम्युनिटी शील्ड का गेम देख रहा था, मेरे दिमाग में एक आइडिया आया था, पता नहीं करूँ कि नहीं, मतलब पब्लिक इंटरेस्टेड होगा कि नहीं देखने के लिए. A lot of movements from Haaland ना, मतलब वो बेसिकली बहुत सारे में ऐसा हुआ कि एक दो मोमेंट्स में उसको केडीबी ने बॉल नहीं दिया, एक दो मोमेंट्स में वो ऑफसाइड था तो केडीबी पूरा भड़क गया था. एंड व्हाट वर्कड फॉर अस, उसके ऊपर मैं सोच रहा था एक वीडियो बनाने का, बट पता नहीं कोई इंटरेस्टेड होगा या नहीं. बट मतलब फ्रॉम अ टैक्टिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, मतलब जितना मुझे समझ में आता है टैक्टिक्स, नॉट लाइक आई एम एन एक्सपर्ट, बट आई डोंट नो. अपने वीडियोस तो कोई देखता
वो
नहीं.
ही निधि, हमने तो बात की है ना, आई थिंक प्रणय के साथ ही उसके चैनल में बात की है कि मैन सिटी भी लाइक जब पेप था तो अग्वेरो हर एक गेम नहीं खेलता था, मतलब लास्ट एक दो साल में तो बिना स्ट्राइकर के खेल रहे थे. तो देर बहुत सिनेरियोज ऐसे होंगे कि हालांड इज मेकिंग दोज रन्स एंड प्रोबेबली सिटी की आदत है ना बॉल इतनी रखने की. सो हालांड को एडजस्ट करना पड़ेगा, सिटी को एडजस्ट करना पड़ेगा. बट अगर मेरे को लग रहा है जब वो समझ गए ना भाई, तो फिर बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग होगा. बिकॉज अगर वो टू डायमेंशनल हो गए कि हालांड को दे कैन प्ले दैट क्विक थ्रू बॉल, दे कैन कीप द बॉल, डिस्ट्रॉय द टीम्स इन बोथ वेज. सो या, बट मैं समझ रहा हूँ तू क्या बोल रहा है निधि.
हाँ बिल्कुल. I think Biotic will be the next trend. We hope so. I hope he is in terms of talent यार रहे. But यार देख, I think थोड़ा हमको expectation कम, the weight of expectation ना कभी कभी ज़्यादा हो जाता है. I think Stefan Biotic is a player that is developing very well, and I think we should leave it at that. I don't think we should. Personally, मेरे को ऐसा लगता है, again, some people might have a different opinion. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अभी कुछ दिन उसको एटलीस्ट एक सीजन उसको ही शुड बी वेयर ही इज, एंड देन वी कैन.
बट निधि पोजीशन ही अलग है ना.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, मैं राइट बैक की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, जो भी पोजीशन हो. आई थिंक व्हाट ही मींस इज इन टर्म्स ऑफ इम्पैक्ट.
अच्छा
तो
अच्छा, हाँ.
आई थिंक दैट आपको थोड़ा उसमें रखना चाहिए.
यार ट्रेंड तो जनरेशनल है, आयरन मैन आपकी तरह जनरेशनल है ट्रेंड. ट्रेंड जैसे फुल बैक्स बहुत कम आते हैं. आप मतलब हैंडफुल है. डैनी, और मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा डैनी एल्वेज से बेटर है ऐसा कुछ रैंडम चीज. डैनी एल्वेज वाज द last right back I think about who was just so good going forward, did his job defensively, won so much. बहुत कम ऐसे फुल बैक्स आते हैं. रीस जेम्स का भी नाम लेते हैं लोग, और कॉन्वर्जेशन मैंने और नितिन ने बहुत बात की है कि वो राइट विंग बैक खेलता है. बट स्टिल आई नो ही इज वेरी गुड एट व्हाट ही डज. हैं प्लेयर्स ऐसे, ना नहीं बोल सकते, बट ट्रेंड जैसा बनना बहुत मुश्किल है. इज अ वेरी वेरी गुड प्लेयर मैन, इज जनरेशनल.
वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि वेट ऑफ एक्सपेक्टेशन हमको थोड़ा कम करना चाहिए, बिकॉज वो बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स हैं यार, जैसे बेन वुडबर्न था, एक एडम मॉर्गन था, जो बहुत हाइप किया सब लोग ने, एंड देन इट डिडंट रियली टेक ऑफ. तो मतलब आई फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई होप दैट बायोटिक गोज द अदर वे एंड गोज द ट्रेंड वे. बट ट्रेंड से सीधा कंपेयर करना इज थोड़ा अनफेयर बिकॉज एक्सपेक्टेशन बहुत अटैच कर देता है वो एक पर्टिकुलर प्लेयर के साथ. बट मानस जोटा के बारे में बात करते हैं यार, ये स्ट्रीम है
हाँ
जोटा के बारे में.
हाँ.
अभी एक चीज है, व्हाट इज जोटा's बेस्ट पोजीशन अकॉर्डिंग टू यू?
ओह, मतलब डाउन द मिडल
डाउन द मिडल.
मेरे हिसाब से. लाइक
हाँ.
I think Jota is that direct thoda, and I say head down, I don't mean it in a negative way, but bulldozing his way head down, uh, great in the box with his head. He Mane, I think Mane se, Salah se, abhi bhi, or Diaz se, he's better in the air. Darwin Núñez is yet to. I have not seen enough of Darwin Núñez to say, oh, Núñez is better. But at the moment, from what I know, bro, he's the best header in our team, ability
हम्म.
wise. If he's in the box with Trent, with Robbo, we can expect goals. We have now, Nidhi, we have Luis Diaz, जो with provide करेगा left पे.
हम्म.
We have Mo Salah, who's made that position probably the best in our league. Not probably, the best in our league in that position. So when
हम्म.
you have Luis Diaz, who's doing well at left wing, Salah is Salah, Jota has to play in the center. That's my opinion.
Now,
But अगर
yeah.
अगर अगर लुइस डियाज नहीं खेल रहा, डार्विन न्यूनेस खेल रहा है एंड जोटा खेल रहा है, तो जोटा लेफ्ट विंग खेलेगा. बट मेरे हिसाब से ही हैज टू प्ले इन द मिडल. तेरे हिसाब से?
But personally, I agree. I think his best position is center forward. Plus, I also think that this position, this in ये summer में, he will be summer बोल रहा हूँ, sorry, ये season में he will be um, he will be playing more than Darwin Núñez, at least initially, right?
या.
Um, don't hate me for this, but I think Jota will play left with Nunes and Salah interchanging position. Is I know Diaz is good, but goals need to come from him. His head drops of his ball. यार देखो, हेट
इसमें
करने की बात
हाँ,
नहीं
वो भी हेट करने की क्यों बात है? आपको ओपिनियन है? सॉरी निधि.
है,
हाँ.
हेट करने की बात नहीं है. बात यह है कि यार हम मतलब व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट अ पर्टिकुलर प्लेयर, नो, हमारा एक्सपेक्टेशन आई थिंक एज फैंस ना बहुत ज्यादा अनरियलिस्टिक हो चुका है. मतलब हम यू आई मीन आई हैव सीन सो मेनी टाइम्स ऑन आवर स्ट्रीम इटसेल्फ, लाइक पीपल जस्ट से कि लुइस डियाज की फिनिशिंग खराब है. यार 13 मैच खेला है वो प्रीमियर लीग में, उसने 4 गोल मारे हैं, 3 असिस्ट दिए हैं. चलो फिनिशिंग की बात करना तो सिर्फ गोल्स की बात कर रहे हैं, ठीक है. 963 minutes he's played, 13 matches, 4 goals for a guy who's just come in um, into a team, didn't have a pre-season. चैंपियंस लीग में 13 मैच खेले हैं, 4 गोल वहां पे भी मारे हैं उसने. पोर्चुगीज लीग में 18 गेम्स, 14 गोल्स. आई डोंट थिंक दिस इज अ बैड रिटर्न. I really don't think this is a bad return. So goals need to come from him. He's scoring here. Matlab, every shot will not be a goal. See, if you look at a lot of these strikers, no, if you look at Salah, Salah misses chances, bro. Salah does miss chances, right? And see, you have to understand one thing, that Luis Diaz plays on the left side. When you play on the left side, and then you are cutting inside and scoring at that speed, it is difficult, right? वो अभी adjust हो रहा है. तो I don't think this is fair to say कि go he needs to work on his finishing. Even everybody needs to work on their finishing, that by that logic. But I think that हम थोड़ा unrealistic हो जाते हैं when it comes to our players. Not every shot he'll take will turn into a goal, no. And let's see क्या होता है ये season.
काफी कमेंट्स आ रहे हैं, जैसे
The most consistent channel on YouTube. अरे यार, thank you
Wisdom's
so much.
Awards, माँ कसम, thank you so much. When Jota is back, what? So अभी ऊपर एक और बंदे ने बोला कि why do we need the width? It was directed towards me. And a few other people are saying Jota's best position is on the left. देखो
Why do
अभी
we need what?
why do we need the width, मानस उसने ऐसे लिखा मतलब इट वाज अ जेन्युइन कमेंट ओवर देयर. जो भी बोल रहा है जोटा लेफ्ट खेलना चाहिए, टोटली यार, मतलब इट्स It's your opinion and it's justified. मेरे हिसाब से you should just play in the center. And इसको आंसर करने के लिए, why do we need the width when you look best while attacking inside? देखो, जोटा will cut back inside. There are so many times where teams ना narrow down कर लेते हैं और फिर हम cramp up हो जाते हैं. Width हमारे लिए बहुत important है. And you have to also understand, अभी हमारे पास एक striker है जो like who will want to play on the shoulders of the defenders. वो centrally run mostly मारेगा. तो अगर हमारे पास कोई width provide कर सकता है to spread that defense little, let's be honest, majority of the times at Anfield especially 5 और 5 हो जाता है. गोलकीपर 5 and 5. तो वो जितना नैरो होता है उतना टफ हो जाता है. सो अगर एक ऐसा प्लेयर है जो विथ के साथ, पेस के साथ वो लाइन पे भागे, फिर रोबो अंदर आ जाए, तो थोड़ा लाइक बुम्बा बुम हो सकता है और न्यूनेस को ज्यादा स्पेस मिल सकता है, साला को ज्यादा स्पेस मिल सकता है. इसलिए विट इंपॉर्टेंट है. श्योर, आई अंडरस्टैंड जोटा अंदर आके कट मार के भी गोल मारता है. देखो, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे जोटा मारे, डियाज मारे, साला मारे, न्यूनेस मारे, फर्मिनो मारे, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. लिवरपूल मारे, वो फर्क पड़ता है. बट हम लोग सिर्फ ये डिस्कस करें जोटा के प्रिफर्ड, हमारे लिए उसकी बेस्ट पोजीशन क्या. आपके लिए अगर लेफ्ट है, टोटली एग्री, आई मीन टोटली अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई. वो आपका ओपिनियन है.
हाँ देख यार, जस्ट मतलब मैं इसको शॉर्ट में बस एक बोल देता हूँ कि यार देखो क्या है ना कि व्हाई डू वी नीड विड्थ. इफ यू लुक एट आवर प्ले, व्हाट इज लिवरपूल स्टाइल बेसिकली, मतलब टेक्निकली अगर एक मतलब अगर आप पूरे चीज को कंडेंस करो तो वी आर looking at a team that wants to win the ball as close as possible to the opponent's half and then quickly transition and attack. Why do we need width is basically, हाँ इंद्रनील मैं लूंगा तेरा क्वेश्चन, रुकना यार. So why do we need width is basically when you attack, हमारे हमारा जो one of the strengths is basically speed, right? And you have players that can attract. So for example, if you look at the midfielder, हमारा midfielder अभी तक जिस हिसाब से हम लोग खेले हैं तो वो basically हम एक वर्कहॉर्स वाला देखते हैं. और जैसे ट्रेंट है, साला है, अब राइट की बात करें तो ट्रेंट और साला जैसे हैं, वो बेसिकली क्या करेंगे, वो अटैक को जो दूसरी टीम है डिफेंस को, उसको स्प्लिट करते हैं. ठीक है, उसको स्प्लिट करते हैं. तो दैट व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट ओपन्स अप अ स्पेस फॉर लेट्स से फर्मिनो और अ जोटा, right? And they make those, and Jota is very good at those particular channels, so he makes those runs inside. And then by the time the defender is on Jota, your Salah is free, your Trent is free, or maybe we play a diagonal ball, and then you have Mane bolne wala tha main, you have Luis Diaz running, right, and Robertson overlapping him. So what you do is you create overloads in the opposition box, right? And then you try and finish those chances. So that's the reason why we need width. Width is a means to an end for us.
हमारा मतलब काफी width is very very important with Robbo and Trent, and we see Trent coming बीच में, then we see Hendo going on the wide right. अगर आपने सब देखा रहेगा, इंटरप्ले जैसे होता है, ट्रेंट कभी कभी बीच में आ जाता है तो हेंडो वाइड राइट चले जाता है, साला और हेंडो कंबाइन करते हैं, कभी ट्रेंट और हेंडो कंबाइन करते हैं, कभी साला और ट्रेंट कंबाइन करते हैं. रोबो तो करता ही है, जिसके साथ लेफ्ट में रोबो तो पागल की तरह भागते रहता है. सो हमारे लिए विथ इज एवरीथिंग. सो इफ वी हैव समवन मोर हु कैन क्रिएट थोड़ा स्पेस बीच में, इट कुड बी बेनिफिशियल मेरे हिसाब से.
हाँ मतलब, and again what I said is मतलब this is how I read the game. Someone else might read it differently. तो वो अपना अपना रीडिंग होता है. एक इंद्रनील का क्वेश्चन है भाई, इसको ले लो, वो बहुत परेशान है. जोटा वर्सेस Jesus वर्सेस वार्डी वर्सेस बैमफोर्ड, क्विक कंपैरिजन.
आप लोग ये कमेंट सेक्शन में लिख दो, आप रैंक कर दो अपने ऑर्डर में, हम लोग वो सब लेते रहेंगे. Pick in order of your liking or quality according to you, everyone. Who is better, Jota, Jesus, Vardy or Bamford? निधि, सॉरी, तू बोल रहा था.
भाई मैं देख यार, वार्डी तो मतलब वो अलग इंसान है. मतलब मैं क्या ही बोलूं, वार्डी व्हाट ही इज डन इज जस्ट मतलब कुछ नहीं बोल सकते हैं.
Incredible.
I would, honestly, and a lot of people don't agree with me when I say this, but वार्डी ना मेरे हिसाब से प्रीमियर लीग लेजेंड है और काफी अंडररेटेड है। अगर वार्डी लिवरपूल, सिटी, चेल्सी, यूनाइटेड, आर्सेनल ये सब क्लब्स के लिए खेल रहा होता ना, तो बहुत ज्यादा उसको हाइप होता। उतना हाइप वार्डी का नहीं है मेरे हिसाब से। जेमी वार्डी इन सर्टेन वेज इज क्वाइट अंडररेटेड। तो मतलब वार्डी तो यार मतलब मैं मेरे हिसाब से ये जो नाम आपने बोले इसमें वार्डी तो नंबर 1 है। जोटा एंड हेजूस मैं बोलूंगा कि हेजूस का अभी पता चलेगा यार, सिटी में ऑनेस्टली उसको उतना खेलने के लिए भी नहीं मिला। तो आई वुड पर्सनली से दैट राइट नाउ जोटा थोड़ा ऊपर है। बैमफोर्ड अगेन मतलब रैंकिंग में क्या करूं यार, देखो रैंकिंग तो मैं नहीं करना चाहता हूं, बट बैमफोर्ड का भी वही है ना भाई कि बैमफोर्ड का भी अनफॉर्चुनेटली हिज करियर हैज बीन लिटर्ड विद इंजरीज। But I think Vardy clear choice है. I don't want to get into a pecking order thing, but Vardy I think
हाँ,
ये चारों नाम में clear option है यार. Vardy is a legend. मतलब क्या उसको डाउट करना.
काफी लोग वही बोल रहे हैं, वाडी फर्स्ट, सब लोग
मैं
ने
वही
वाडी फर्स्ट ही बोला है, विच आई थिंक इज
Vardy Jota.
जस्टिफाइड। वाटी वाडी, वो वाटी बोलने वाला था, वाटी।
Vardy.
वाडी, वो वाडी फर्स्ट रहेगा। बैमफोर्ड मेरे हिसाब से इन दिस लिस्ट इज गोना बी एट द एंड। एंड जेजूस ने भी important goals मारे मैन सिटी के लिए। जोटा एंड जेजूस इज वन टाइटल्स, many titles, so it's tough to say anything against Jesus, but I think Jesus is now going to be utilized more अंडर आर्सेनल। उसका रियल
वही मैं बोल
जेजस
रहा हूँ.
दिखने
अभी पता
मिलेगा।
चलेगा Jesus का क्या है सीन.
एंड जोटा भी लॉन्ग टर्म डील, हाउ मच विल जोटा प्ले, बट इसमें तो वार्डी लाइक, एंड आई एग्री विद निधि, लाइक अगर वार्डी कोई दूसरे क्लब के लिए खेल रहा होता, एपिक एपिक होता, मतलब लाइक एपिक मतलब हाइप एपिक होता। और अभी भी जब भी लिवरपूल वार्डी को खेलता है, वार्डी के अगेंस्ट खेलता है लेस्टर, निधि हम हमेशा ये सोचते हैं हाईलाइन रहेगा, वी हैव टू बी केयरफुल।
वार्डी मैं बोल तो रहा हूँ भाई, मतलब आई वार्डी इज इनसेन भाई, मेरे को तो बहुत पसंद है. प्रीमियर लीग लेजेंड इजीली. मयूरेश श्रवण प्लीज टेक माय क्वेश्चन. मयूरेश तेरा क्या क्वेश्चन है? मुझे दिख नहीं रहा है. कैन यू पोस्ट इट अगेन? एक बार कर दो पोस्ट तो मैं ले लूंगा. राइट. इज एलिसन बेटर देन एडरसन?
ये निधि,
लास्ट.
ये मेरे हिसाब से दिस इज जस्ट अ क्वेश्चन टू,
आई नो.
या सो
इसलिए मैं आंसर इसका दे रहा हूँ कि बेसिकली देखो यार, different teams, different players. I personally feel last season Alisson was much better. There have been seasons where both of them have been equal. So that's how it is, right?
वेल लेफ्ट निधि, वेल लेफ्ट।
मतलब यार देखो, ये मुझे मतलब अगेन मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि देखो, आप मान लो दो प्लेयर्स को देखते हो. अच्छा, मेरे को एक चलो मैं फिर से खाने के ऊपर जाऊंगा, मतलब बिकॉज आई लव फूड, सो आई मेक ये देखो एक और आ गया. मेरे को एक बात बताओ, जब आप अपने पसंद का आइसक्रीम खाते हो, मान लो कि आप चॉकलेट फ्लेवर खा रहे हो, तो आप चॉकलेट फ्लेवर खाते टाइम ये सोचते हो क्या कि यार दिस और बटर स्कॉच? चॉकलेट को एंजॉय करो ना. जब बटर स्कॉच खा रहे हो तो बटर स्कॉच को एंजॉय करो. मतलब ये हर बार कंपैरिजन, देखो इट कंपैरिजन इज द थीफ ऑफ जॉय. ठीक है. अभी मतलब मेरे से पूछोगे तो मैं एक नाम बोल दूंगा, अब उससे आप अग्री नहीं करोगे, फिर आप बोलोगे कि नहीं ये तो तुम बायस हो, तुम गधे हो, तुम बेवकूफ हो.
बायस
वो
तो मतलब तो भी ठीक है, हाँ, गधे, गधा तो भी।
तो मतलब देखो यार, फुटबॉल थोड़ा सा मतलब देखो, ऑफ कोर्स फुटबॉल इज अ कंपटीशन एंड लाइक, बट फुटबॉल इंडिविजुअल स्पोर्ट नहीं है ना यार. एलिसन इज नॉट एलिसन बिकॉज ही इज वहां पे है उधर. भाई देख उधर क्या है कि वो एनी टीम इज अ सम ऑफ इट्स पार्ट्स, है ना. तो एंड वी डेफिनेटली आर मोर देन द सम ऑफ आवर पार्ट्स. दैट्स व्हाट आवर स्ट्रेंथ इज. तो वही है भाई, देखो ट्राई करो. लेगेसी का गुलाब जामुन है नहीं, लेगेसी का भाई देखो टेंडर कोकोनट से अच्छा कुछ नहीं है. ये तो भाई फैक्ट है. मतलब इसमें आई एम सॉरी, मैं कोई ओपिनियन एक्सेप्ट नहीं करने वाला हूँ. इसमें मैं जज ज्यूरी एग्जीक्यूशनर खुद हूँ. नेचुरल्स का बेस्ट फ्लेवर इज टेंडर कोकोनट, ठीक है, बकवास बंद करो।
मतलब कोई कोकोनट मिल्क में कोई भी आइसक्रीम चलेगी मेरे को तो।
भाई टेंडर कोकोनट इज द बेस्ट, मतलब आई डोंट केयर, ये मेरा डिक्टेटरशिप है।
हाँ
नेचुरल्स में टेंडर कोकोनट के अलावा कोई फ्लेवर अच्छा नहीं है,
निधि,
जो
मतलब
बोलना
तो
है।
तो कूद जाता है क्या, मतलब अंदर जैसे नेचुरल में, या मतलब ऐसे काउंटर पे चढ़ गया और वो घुस गया अंदर।
कम से कम 2 बार, कम से कम 2 स्कूप तो मैं खाता ही हूँ जब भी मैं नेचुरल्स जाता हूँ, तो टेंडर
अच्छा, मेरे को
कोकोनट इज
लगा तो बोलने रहा था कम से कम रोज का 2 स्कूप खाता हूँ। मैंने
रोज का
बोला
दोस्त,
निधि।
मर जाऊंगा। ओके, मयूरेश का क्वेश्चन आ गया, व्हाट डू यू थिंक ऑफ ब्रूनो फर्नांडिस एज अ प्लेयर, व्हाट मेन थ्रेट फॉर हिम ऑपोजिशन फैन टीम्स, मतलब आई थिंक ब्रूनो फर्नांडिस इज अ फैंटास्टिक प्लेयर यार, मतलब वो जो उसका पहला सीजन था उसने मतलब वर्ल्ड क्लास था यार वो। आई थिंक दैट एरिक टेन हैग विल बी लुकिंग एट ब्रूनो फर्नांडिस एंड से, बॉस तेरे ऊपर मैं बहुत सारी चीजें, तेरे ऊपर बहुत सारी नहीं, sorry, तेरे अराउंड में बहुत सारी चीजें सेंटर करूंगा। If you have to look at it, he's the right age. I personally think he might be the next choice for the Manchester United captain. I think he's a brilliant player यार, उसका main threat जहां तक मुझे समझ में आता है is basically running between channels. He can obviously provide the killer ball, the killer pass. Finish तो अच्छा कर ही सकता है, brilliant penalty taker. तो I think that that's my opinion of Bruno Fernandes. He's obviously, उसको थोड़ा मैन यूनाइटेड में लास्ट सीजन काफी चीजें कंफ्यूज थी, रोनाल्डो भी था, सैंचो भी था, रैशफोर्ड भी खेल रहा था, बहुत सारी चीजें कंफ्यूज हो रही थी, तो लास्ट सीजन एरिक टेन हैग के नीचे के अंडर आप जज करो, देखो थोड़ा मतलब शायद उसको टाइम, मतलब पर्सनली आई लाइक ब्रूनो फर्नांडिस अ लॉट, अच्छा प्लेयर है यार। अगर हमने उसको साइन किया होता ना, वी वुड हैव लव्ड हिम। ऑब्वियसली लोग ट्रोल करते हैं, ये करते हैं, वो
और
करते
एक
हैं,
एक
बट
पॉइंट पे ऐसा लिंक था ना निधि, लाइक मतलब
हाँ हाँ, वो
लेजिट
प्री
रूमर था
सीजन
कि
में
नहीं,
क्लॉप
बट
ने, हाँ, प्री सीजन में क्लॉप ने हग वग किया तो उसको तो
हाँ
लिंक
तो
तो
हम।
था। तो वही है, देखो अच्छा प्लेयर है ब्रूनो फर्नांडिस, आई लाइक ब्रूनो फर्नांडिस।
और अभी अभी इंटरेस्टिंग होगा, अभी काफी इंटरेस्टिंग होगा कि क्रिश्चियन एरिक्सन हैज जॉइंड मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड एज वेल। फ्रैंकी डियोंग की तो बात चल ही रही है। अगर फ्रैंकी डियोंग भी साइन हो गया सो तभी क्या होता है, पॉगबा हैज लेफ्ट द क्लब। देखो मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड is not our area of expertise, but I'm just looking at as outsider. Christian Eriksen obviously is going to provide that creativity. अगर Frankie De Jong भी आएगा, Fred McTominay है, so how will they work in midfield? Midfield is a area they have to start improving if they want to challenge for the big honors. Anyway, that's Bruno. That's Bruno. Yeah, I really like him as well.
ब्रूनो और केडीबी, दिस इज एन इजी वन यार, केडीबी।
KDB,
केडीबी
of
आई
course.
थिंक इज
KDB, bro.
आई थिंक दिस इज एन इजी वन, ब्रूनो इज ग्रेट बट आई
इसमें
थिंक
कुछ
De Bruyne,
कंट्रोवर्शियल भी नहीं है, मतलब आई थिंक पूरी दुनिया केडीबी बोलेगी एट द मोमेंट यार।
हाँ मतलब आई पर्सनली फील De Bruyne इज द बेस्ट मिडफील्डर राइट नाउ इन द वर्ल्ड।
निधि,
तो
निश का अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, कमिंग बैक टू टॉपिक।
हाँ, व्हाट आर योर फेवरेट जोटा गोल्स एंड गेम? आर्सेनल के सारे गेम्स याद आते हैं, वो बहुत मतलब आर्सेनल के साथ तो एक से एक गोल्स मारे यार जोटा ने, बहुत ही अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस किया है, बट जोटा का बेस्ट गोल्स क्या बोलता है मानस?
निश, हमने काफी बार ये बात की है कि हिज एबिलिटी इन द बॉक्स इज जस्ट इमेंस। मेरे को एक गेम याद आता है, चैंपियंस लीग अवे अटलांटा, जब उसे हैट्रिक मारी थी वो।
हम्म
आई थिंक उसका फर्स्ट सीजन था एंड आई वाज लाइक कि भाई क्या साइनिंग है। अनफॉर्चुनेटली
हम्म
ग्रुप स्टेज में मिचेलिन के अगेंस्ट वो इंजर्ड हो गया, जो निधि ने पहले एम्फेसाइज किया था। बट आई थिंक अटलांटा के अगेंस्ट अवे वाज हिज बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस। जोटा, देन आर्सेनल अवे लीग कप, फर्स्ट लेग
हम्म
सेमीफाइनल लास्ट सीजन, अगेन अ ग्रेट परफॉर्मेंस। ग्रेट गोल्स की बात करें, एवर्टन अवे मर्सीसाइड डार्बी, वो जो काटा एलन को आई थिंक, एंड देन लेफ्ट फुटेड एंड देन ऐसा कुछ तो सेलिब्रेशन किया वो।
नियर पोस्ट पे मारा था उसने,
हाँ हाँ।
नियर
सो
पोस्ट पे मारा था।
या, सो that is one of the best goals. So yeah, Arsenal away, then Atlanta away, and that goal for me. Nidhi, for you?
I personally loved his goal against Arsenal जो उसने ये सीजन भी मारा था ना. I loved that goal क्योंकि मतलब वो एकदम प्रॉपर फॉक्स इन द बॉक्स है यार. जोटा का उस तरह के गोल्स मेरे को बहुत पसंद आते हैं. अटलांटा वाला तूने बोला ही, इट वाज डैम गुड मैन. मतलब इट वाज परहैप्स वन ऑफ द उससे पता चल गया था कि बॉस ये बंदे में दम है. And then, I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting quite a few because
Yeah.
Jota ने एक गोल्स मारे हैं हमारे लिए.
किसी ने भी एक कमेंट किया था. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अंकित, थैंक यू सो मच यार 4K कमेंट के लिए. ऑलमाइटी स्पोर्ट्स इज इन द चैट. 200 प्लस पीपल वाचिंग निधि एंड मी फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम अकेले. मैं पहली बात सबको थैंक यू बोलना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि यूजुअली कोई और आता है हमारे स्ट्रीम में तो पब्लिक हमारे साथ मौजूद होती है, और आप लोग इतने सारे लोग देख रहे हैं. थैंक यू सो मच. मैं तो और कुछ नहीं कहूंगा. मैं लाइक करने भी नहीं बोलूंगा, सब्सक्राइब करने भी नहीं बोलूंगा. आप लोग इतने देख रहे हैं कंसिस्टेंटली, मेरे लिए, हमारे लिए बहुत 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 बड़ी बात है. इलिसिट मॉब का व्हाई द वी डिडंट साइन हालैंड, इसका आंसर मैं देना चाहता हूं. सिंपल सी बात है. आपको पहली बात ये समझनी पड़ेगी, अर्लिंग हालैंड, बोरुसिया डॉर्टमुंड were able to sign him because, or on the premise that I will have a release clause and after a few years वो trigger होगा and I will leave the club. Because Erling Haaland wanted to play Champions League, Erling Haaland wanted to play in a more competitive league than the Austrian league. So therefore the Dortmund move made sense for Erling Haaland. अब वो, अभी आप बोलोगे why couldn't we trigger that release clause? Because हम लोग उसके वेज मैच नहीं कर सकते. श्योर हमने न्यूनेस के लिए ज्यादा पे किया है, बट न्यूनेस का वेज अर्लिंग हालैंड का आधा भी नहीं है. तो अगर आप लेंथ ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में देखेंगे, सो वी आर पेइंग लेसर. मेरे, आई कुड बी रॉन्ग, बट मेरे हिसाब से वी पेइंग लेसर निधि in the grand scheme of things, because I think what 198k or 110k we are paying uh, for Darwin Núñez का wages. Erling Haaland will be earning a lot more, a lot more.
मतलब एग्जैक्ट फिगर्स तो मुझे पता नहीं, बट इट वुड बी क्लोजर टू साला.
Yeah, so Erling Haaland का भी 40-50 मिलियन में हुआ, हमने 65 मिलियन दिया, 85 प्लस हो जाएगा वो. तो that is the reason we can't afford the wages of Erling Haaland. आपको ये भी सोचना पड़ेगा कि अगर हमने Erling Haaland को साइन भी कर लिया रहता, साला को इतना मर के हमने 350k दिया है, तो Erling Haaland 20 साल का, 21 साल का आएगा, डायरेक्टली 350k लेगा. बाकी प्लेयर्स क्या सोचेंगे? और ये टीम की यूनिटी एंड द कमराडरी इज द बिगेस्ट थिंग. प्री सीजन में अगर आप देखोगे, यर्गन क्लॉप ने बोला देयर वाज अ मोमेंट, देयर वाज अ गेट टुगेदर एंड ही हैड नेवर एक्सपीरियंस समथिंग लाइक दैट. दिस इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ आवर टीम. पेप लिंडर्स ने कहा है कि इंटेंसिटी इज आवर आइडेंटिटी, बट आल्सो द टुगेदरनेस ऑफ दिस टीम. सो it's this is a really special team.
100%. Thank you, Indranil. Really means a lot. Thank you, Lucky Reds. Thank you so much. कोई बोल रहा है कि सिर्फ मोहक के स्ट्रीम पे आते हो. भाई मोहक मेरे को मैं क्या बोलूं, मोहक बुलाता है हमको, मुझे बुलाता है फ्राइडे को. अब फ्राइडे को यार मैं थोड़ा आई लेट माय हेयर डाउन, इसलिए आप देखते हो मेरे साथ, मेरे को एक ड्रिंक देता है. ट्यूसडे नाइट को क्या बैठ के पीऊं. बट यस यार देखो, रिलीज क्लॉज देखो,
चैंपियंस लीग नाइट है तो हो सकता है बात, बट
हाँ तब हो सकता है. भाई देखो यार, देखो लास्ट प्लेयर जिसने रिलीज क्लॉज के लिए बोला था हमको, उसको हमने जाने दिया था, एमरे चैन. ठीक है. वी डोंट डू रिलीज क्लॉज वाला प्लेयर्स. एंड सेकेंडली हालैंड के साथ यार देखो, वेजेस का तो इशू था ही, बहुत बड़ा वेजेस का इशू था. हम उतना वेजेस नहीं दे सकते थे. हम साला को उतना दे रहे हैं, एक फ्रेश प्लेयर को तो उतना नहीं देंगे. तो वो एक रीजन था. कोई बोल रहा है गाइस, फुलेरा का फर्मिनो, ओ गॉड, फुलेरा.
पहली बात, आप तो सही वाले हो ही नहीं सकते क्योंकि आपके फर्मिनो में एच है.
हाँ. और फुलेरा इज बेसिकली वो जो सीरीज आई थी ना यार, वो पंचायत, उसमें वो गांव का नाम था फुलेरा. तो
अच्छा.
हाँ यार बिल्कुल, मतलब मैं तो अभी बोल दूंगा कि आई लव फर्मिनो, उसमें क्या डाउट है. Dave's in the chat.
Dave, you want to join for like 5 minutes and just speak about Jota signing. That'll be fun, I
Yeah.
think. So we have
मैं हमेशा
230
पूछता
people
हूँ
watching.
हाँ मैं हमेशा पूछता हूँ डेव से बट डेव आई थिंक इज
भाई
बिजी
लोग जो भी देख रहा है अभी, अगर डेव ज्वाइन करेगा, आप बहुत ही हंसोगे अच्छे वे में. इतनी पॉजिटिविटी है वो बंदे में. आयरलैंड में है वो, डबलिन. तो अगर वो ज्वाइन करेगा, बहुत बहुत मजा आएगा. इट विल बी फन. यस, ही सेड सेंड मी द लिंक. देव को भेज दे
हाँ
भाई.
तो भेज दे उसको मैं तेरे पास व्हाट्सएप है ना उस भेज
हाँ
या
हाँ, ओके, आई विल
ट्विटर
जस्ट.
पे डाल दे Do Liverpool fans still hate Sterling after the cut? देखो यार, I cannot speak on behalf of all Liverpool fans, right? But I'll say that I didn't hate him for leaving, right? He had a much better option when he went, and basically, Brendan Rodgers उसको full back position पे खिला रहा था, and on the other hand, he has an option of City जहाँ पे जाके वो he won except the Champions League सब कुछ जीत गया वो. मल्टीपल टाइम्स लीग जीता ये वो करके. उसने जाने के बाद बहुत बकवास की है अबाउट अ क्लब दैट लिटरली पुट हिम अप वेयर ही इज, राइट. ही कैनॉट से दैट आई डोंट, मतलब बू वो इसलिए होता है क्योंकि वो उसने बहुत, आई डोंट हेट हिम फॉर लीविंग, इट्स जस्ट दैट विथ एज ही शुड हैव बीन मोर मैच्योर, एंड देन सडनली बीच बीच में वो बोलता है कि माई डॉटर इज अ लिवरपूल फैन. सो वो बिहेवियर मुझे समझ नहीं आता है स्टर्लिंग का.
मेरे को सिर्फ
बट आई
स्टर्लिंग का
बट आई
एक
डोंट
बार
हेट.
मुझे. Yeah, I don't hate him for leaving at all, and I don't hate Sterling at all. Sterling is a good player यार. मेरे को सिर्फ एक बार, आई थिंक कोई अवार्ड फंक्शन में था और उसने बोला था कि लेट्स होप लिवरपूल डजंट विन द लीग, नो वन वुड वांट दैट, ऐसा कुछ तो. आई एम पैराफ्रेजिंग.
उसने दो तीन
उसने.
बार बोला है, उसने दो तीन बार
हाँ.
बोला है, मतलब he has made a few comments which he didn't need to, जबरदस्ती. मतलब मिलनर has never spoken anything bad about Manchester City. He's never said anything bad about, so मतलब I don't hate him for leaving because Brendan Rodgers राइट विंग बैक खेल रहा है और वो सब चीजें हैं, बट आई एंड ऑन द अदर ऑप्शन ही हैड एन ऑप्शन टू गो एंड प्ले इन अ मच बिगर टीम, डेवलप अ
Yeah,
लॉट मोर, व्हिच ही डिड. तो
yeah.
आई थिंक वो, आई अंडरस्टैंड हिज कमेंट्स वर क्वाइट स्टूपिड बाय द वे. that's what I would like to say.
और कभी कभी ना, लाइक वो ज्यादा लिवरपूल फैन से नहीं, मेरे हिसाब से, जैसे मैंने बोला कि मेरे को तो I have no hatred for Sterling. एक बार उसने वो स्पेशली वो इंटरव्यू में बोला, मेरे को बुरा लगा था, बट आई हैव नो हेटरेड टुवर्ड्स रहीम स्टर्लिंग. बट इंग्लिश मीडिया भी रहीम स्टर्लिंग के अगेंस्ट, अगर आपने देखा रहेगा, एक पॉइंट था, बहुत ही एग्रेसिव थी अगेंस्ट
हाँ,
रहीम स्टर्लिंग,
करेक्ट. इट वाज
which
वो
yeah, it was weird.
it bordered on very weird. I don't know what to say. Dave in the chat. Dave.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the journey of legends. The Reds continue with a fantastic season to look forward to, guys. The dream continues. Diogo Jota has got a Dalota. New deal.
How are we feeling about this, Dave?
Do you know what? He's signed until 2027, so he had 2 years left, so we're giving him a 3-year extension. So 5 more years of Diogo. He's out injured at the moment, bit of a hamstring issue. Should be back in training in about 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks. So I just want this guy back. I love this guy. I absolutely love this guy, Diogo Jota. I mean, he just does something different. He's part of the famous five. He's part of the famous five. Ina Blyton's famous five. I mean, this guy is just, wow. Great addition.
No, but
Dave, we're getting a lot of comments for you. Everyone's loving it. Everyone's liking it. The fact that you are here. But Dave,
I've got a more important question, Dave. You've been on the show a few times, but when are we seeing you with an Irish beer in hand? When's that happening? It's just juice all the time. Like, show us the beer, man.
Look, guys, what time is it here in Dublin? It's 5:25 here in Dublin. I'm drinking my waddy juice because I'm just got over COVID. I've had COVID.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I'm on a go easy, baby. Usually it's a beer at about 5:30, but I'm on the juice. I'm on the Milner juice. The Milner juice will give me energy for the new season. Guys, I'm looking forward to this season. This season is epic. I want this season to be the bread and butter. I want the ham to be the Champions League. I want to eat that sandwich. I want the double. I want the quadruple. I want the league. I want number 20, baby. And I think this season we've got the team. We've got the 5 sub rule, which will absolutely help us. The energy. Actually, I'm low on energy today. You should see me when I'm full energy. Wow.
Yeah, this is Dave operating at about 50% capacity. And yes, he does have his...
Dave, you are like Ranveer Singh. He's an actor in India. He's always perpetually high on energy. You are like him. Yes, Dave has his channel, and I'm just going to link it in
Just put it in
the
the
comment section. Please do follow him. Dave, we were just talking about the position of Jota. Loads of conversation about whether he's good on the left or centrally. What's your opinion on that, Dave? Or does it even matter wherever he plays?
I'll tell you what, I just love him on the pitch. I mean, he can play. He's more central. He actually reminds me of Robbie Fowler, if anybody remembers back in the 90s. He's got that finish about him. He's got that intelligence about him. There's something different about him. He's like a little terrier biting at your ankles in the schoolyard when you're running around with the football. One of those players you just don't like playing against. They're an absolute nightmare. And Jota is one of those players for me. He's a Portuguese international. I absolutely love this guy. I really, really like him. Look, guys, my mouth is salivating. Front 5. Bobby No Look. Mohala, the king of Egypt. Diaz, Happy Diaz, the Colombian wizard. Then we've also got Diogo Jota has got the Lota. And throw in Uruguayan maestro, the wizard, Núñez. I mean, it's dreamland, guys. We should be in literally dreamland.
Should we cry? Should we be crying about Jude Bellingham though, Dave? Because on every stream we speak about anything, people just say, "What about Jude Bellingham?"
Well, I'll tell you what. There is a really, really good chance that Jude Bellingham is going to come to us next season. There's a really, really good chance of that. Now, remember, Naby Keita still is one of the few that hasn't signed his extension. I know Liverpool are working on it at the moment. Maybe that'll get done in this month. I don't know. But if you throw a Jude Bellingham into our team, we go from the Hubble Space Telescope to the James Webb Space Telescope. Different level, baby. We just go intergalactic. And I think it'll happen probably next summer.
Yeah. I mean, Dortmund are not going to let both Haaland and Bellingham go in one season. But we've got a quick question for you, Dave. Would you like to pick your top 4 for this season?
I'll give you my top 4 and my bottom 3, whatever you want.
Let's go.
Go for the top 4. Go for the top 4.
Okay. Top 4. Here we go. Liverpool, number 1. Straight in, top of the pops. It's Liverpool at number 1 with the Premier League title. In at number 2, it's Manchester City. Just missed out by a whisker, unfortunately. And number 3, the newcomers. It is Conte's Spurs. In at number 3. Great season for Spurs, but not quite at the level of the top 2. And then at 4th, which is going to be hard to predict, it's a throw-up. It's a toss-up between Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United. I think United might get it with Ten Hag. They're going to be hard to beat. That'd be my top 4.
You think Chelsea misses out? You think Chelsea misses out on the top 4 this season?
I tell you what, Chelsea are going to be hard. They're like the tales of the unexpected. They're very hard to predict. I mean, they've had a poor preseason. I know preseasons are up and down. Tuchel's under a lot of pressure there. They spent plenty of sterling on Raheem, and we shall see what happens with that one. But I just don't fancy Chelsea. I think United, being United, the fan base, the new manager, he's a very disciplined manager. They will certainly be harder to beat. They will not lose as many games as they did. Then again, they can't be as bad as they were last year either. But it's going to be really interesting. That'd be my top 4. The bottom 3, real quick. I think Bournemouth and Fulham, who come up, go back down, unfortunately, a bit like yo-yos. I think they go back down. I think Forest have a really good chance of staying up. If their home form is good, which I think it will be, I think Forest could stay up. And the likes of even Everton, maybe, or maybe even Brentford, with 2 season wonders, could go back down. But I think Fulham and Bournemouth are more or less destined for them to go back down. I just don't think they have enough.
That's interesting. But Dave, I don't know whether you can stick around or whether you go.
Stick around for a few minutes. Go ahead.
Perfect. Darwin Núñez. What are we making of him?
Oh my God. Wow.
Dave, before you answer that, guys, the link for Dave's channel is in the chat. Please head over and hit the subscribe button. You're not going to regret it. In fact, there's only things to gain. So
Yeah.
go to Dave
And
LFC
it's
chat,
for free. It's for
and
free.
it is
It's
for free.
free. It's free, guys. Like and
Right.
subscribe.
Like
Right.
it's the third best thing for free after Joel Matip and James Milner. Sorry, Dave. Yeah.
Happy Diaz. Happy Diaz. But I'll tell you what, guys, this is the thing, right? Thanks for that. Thanks for that very much. I should come on here a lot more, to be fair. But
I agree.
I'm actually melting here. I'm melting. I'm like the Wicked Witch from the East. Look, Diaz, Núñez coming in, big fee. We know it's a big fee. He's a young lad. I mean, think about the stepping stones this guy has done. Coming from Uruguay to go to Almeria in the second tier team. They're like a nobody team. Then to play for a decent, big enough club, I suppose. Portugal, Benfica, to go to a stratospheric level, Liverpool. I mean, that in itself is a big move. That's one of the reasons I think why he took his top off last week against City. Yeah. It was an outburst. It wasn't because of the importance of the game. Listen, guys, the Community Shield to me is basically, a glorified friendly. Let's be real. I mean, you win a plate, you put your buffet on the plate, you eat the buffet after the plate, you put the plate into the dishwasher. That's where that went. But for me, the big team was beating City, of course. City are so, our rivals. They're going to be there with us toe-to-toe next year. To me, it was more important to beat them. I mean, I'd beat them at Tiddlywinks. I'd beat them at any type of game. I'd like to beat them. Same at United. I absolutely hate them. So, for me, it was huge. But Darwin Núñez, I mean, guys, he's going to give us something different, isn't he? I mean, I predicted yesterday in the show, he'll get over 20 goals. And most of his goals might not be spectacular. We'll be in that 6-yard area. There'll be tap-ins, there'll be nod-ins, there'll be goalkeeper fumbles, there'll be corner kicks, free kicks, headers, maybe an awkward goal. I don't care.
Yeah, but goals. All these goals that Nidhi, that Dave is mentioning, these are the goals that have been missing from a team and a game, right? The scrappy goals, the ugly goals. We need those goals, Nidhi.
I was just gonna say that, who cares? I mean, if there is a rebound from the goalkeeper and there's a player there who just taps it in, who cares? I mean, not every goal needs to be pretty. No. And I'm sure.
I mean, I don't know whether you guys are old enough to remember me being an old man, wise old man like me. Gary Lineker back in the 90s, even in John Aldridge or Ian Rush, a lot of them they get the odd spectacular one, maybe 1 in 10. But the other 9 would be 6-yard, 2-yard, 1-yard, 3-yard, hits the post, rebounds, keeper, taps it in. So what? Who cares? If Núñez can get 20, Salah, we know will get 20 plus. If Diaz, another thing about Diaz, I'll go back to Diaz. I think Diaz just has to up his game a little bit and get a few goals for us. I think if Diaz can add goals to his game, maybe 10, 15, I mean, that just helps us on the road to glory. Those type of goals coming in, chipping in, Jota the same, even Bobby No Look, maybe 10. It all adds up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a total of... See, because I'm expecting 15 odd from Jota. I'm expecting, you could say, the same from Diaz and Firmino, because not in total, not together, but maybe in total. So 30 there and then 20 from Salah and all. That's a huge number then. That's 70 odd goals right there. And then we have Trent scoring a few, Thiago scoring a few, Hendo scoring
Elliot,
a few.
Maybe Fabinho.
Yeah, Fabinho scores a few. Yeah, so I think the goal scoring, Nidhi, will be shared this season quite a lot. Of course, Salah will score more because A, Salah is Salah, and B, he also takes those penalties, Nidhi. So I think Salah will be the main goal scorer.
Salah is the king. Salah is the king. I seen a thing on Twitter and all these crazy TikTok boys doing their dances. At the end of the day, the most important player for us is Mohamed, the king of Egypt. He's the guy who gets us 25 plus. Forget about Núñez. Forget about Diaz, Jota. Even forget about Haaland. They're talking about, Haaland and Núñez going for top goal scorer. Forget about it. It's Mo Salah.
Have you been to a mosque recently to pray for the new season because of Mo Salah? Have you done that yet?
No.
I mean, that's the chant. That's the chant.
Because that's a chant, right? If he scores another few, and I'll be Muslim too. Mo Salah. Anyway, yeah.
But what do you guys think of the point I made about Diaz? If he can add goals to to his play, to the finish. You know, I mean, he has everything else. I'm not saying he hasn't scored goals. I'm saying if in the new season now, he came in January, he's done brilliant, but now his eyes must be on, okay, I'm starting games. I've got to either make a goal or score a goal.
Yeah, see, Dave, we sort of touched upon that point during the start of the stream. I think his return is pretty okay. I think his return is very good. We have to keep into mind that this guy has just come in, not played a preseason with the team. 13 games he's played for us in the Premier League and scored 4. In the Champions League with Porto and with us, he's played 13 again, scored 4. I think considering that he drifts in from the left wing, I think it's done pretty all right. I wouldn't worry about his output too much. Obviously, with the preseason, it's going to improve, and that's a 99.99% given with Jurgen Klopp as our coach and Pep Linders coaching him. I think he's pretty okay with his finishing, personally.
I personally feel that since the comparisons, Dave, are with Sadio Mane, it's tough for anyone to compete with Sadio Mane, especially with our team and in our system. And secondly, I will not say that he's a finished product at all. I think there's a lot that needs to be polished, but once that gem is polished, he's gonna shine, man. He's gonna shine, baby. I genuinely feel that. And I think this season could be the season where we see Luis Diaz score a few goals and a few important goals. I get the feeling Luis Diaz will not be the guy who scores 20. I think he'll be the guy who scores 12, but 8 of them will be so crucial. He's one of those people. I get that feeling. He's that big game player and he's gonna run. And another thing which I think goes under the radar about Luis Diaz is it just runs up and down, up and down, up and down. He harasses the defenders. Everyone is tired. Everyone is like, just get rid of him. They foul him. They swipe him, which might result to set plays. And we score goals from set plays. So that might not be counted under his tally, but he's going to do that. There's a thing about Jack Grealish. He gets fouled quite a lot. I'm not saying they're similar players, but I think Luis Diaz will be fouled quite a lot, and which might give us more goals in the overall scheme of things.
What do you guys think of young Fabio Carvalho? I think he's going to be an absolute smashing player and could be a lot more involved than what people think.
That was my bold prediction. That was my bold prediction for this season. I said that Fabio Carvalho will surprise a lot of people. But what I think, Dave, is that Jurgen Klopp is someone that gives players who are that young enough time. So I see that happening with Fabio as well. I think that he will play, but probably let's say during at least the first part of the season he will be shielded, and then play in a cup game or that kind of a thing, or coming on for the last 10 minutes, etc. But I totally agree with you. I think he's going to be a smashing player for us. He's got a big future ahead of him.
Yeah. Who would you rather give more time to, Dave? Elliot or Carvalho?
Well, we know Klopp loves Elliot. We know Klopp absolutely loves Elliot, and I think Elliot's now stepping up into nearly senior player mode at this stage. He's not a young lad anymore. I mean, he got that bad injury last year, just as he was taking off. Just literally, it was on the launch pad, and he was. But I think, to be honest, you're asking me that. I think Elliot will get more time for the very fact he's been at Liverpool longer. And Klopp would trust him more. But I really do think Fabio Carvalho could be a golden key for us. It could open up a few things for us, especially with the 5-sub rule. The 5-sub rule is coming in this year, and it is absolutely huge for the big clubs with the big squads and the quality on the bench, because we'll be able to change it with 15, 20 to go. 15, 20, we could have a possibility of having 5 people to bring on, or 3 or 4 people to bring on, and it'll be huge with the big squad we have. It'll be huge.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting how we deal with that, because Jurgen Klopp has been a huge endorser of the 5 substitutions, and because of COVID and all, he was very much pushing for it, and because of this being a World Cup year as well, I think we will need those substitutes. Unfortunately, players are going to get injured a few more times than we would like that. Dave, you want to take this?
What do you think? Who will do the dirty work? What Mane did in the front line? To be honest, if you've seen the Community Shield the weekend, if you've seen, as you just said, the amount of running and dirty work that Luis Diaz did at the weekend, he had to come off. He had to come off because he was so tired. That's why he came off. He was bloody ran ragged.
Yeah.
To play for Liverpool, you have to do the dirty work, or you won't get on the bloody pitch. You have to have energy. You have to put a shift in, no matter who you are. Mo Salah, look at Mo Salah. He's starting the season like he's a new bleeding player. Sorry for the cursing, but you know what I mean. And I think they're all going to do the dirty work. They'll share it around. The energy is there. Mo Salah's energy is back. I've never seen him look better, fitter, ready to rock as I did the other day. It's one of his best first 20, 25s I've ever seen him play. You know what I mean? Diaz will do it. Núñez will do it. Núñez did a lot of running as well. But we know Bobby will do it. And we know Jota will do it. Yeah. That's what Klopp expects of you. And that's what you'll do. Or you won't last long at Liverpool. Simple.
Dave, I mean, are we short in midfield? Are we genuinely short in midfield? Because that's a narrative which has been spoken quite a lot. Me and Nidhi have spoken about it at length, literally at every live, since you're here as well. Now Chamberlain is out. We might see a few injuries throughout the course of the season. There are things said about Keita's injury correctly because he's injury prone. We have Thiago who has a niggle in him. Are you a little scared about it?
Okay. Tyler Morton's gone to Blackburn on loan, as you've probably seen. Yesterday, he's another young, talented midfielder. I had a feeling he might have held on to him. He actually held on to him this long to see what was happening. So you never know. We might make a move in the midfield. We might make a small little move in the midfield transfer market-wise for the very fact we let Tyler Morton go and the fact that Ox isn't back till, I think, October, something like that.
Yeah, it's also 3 months. But Dave, we don't make those kind of transfer moves. Do you see? And actually, since you're here, and this is a rather contentious topic. Let me just ask you: would you take Gini Wijnaldum on loan for this season?
No,
I wouldn't either. Manas, what about you?
I think that ship has sailed. Klopp does not like bringing. It doesn't always work, guys. Sometimes it can disrupt things. I think Klopp right now is happy at the moment with the squad. We've seen him in pre-season. He looks happy. He's telling jokes again. He's refreshed. He's ready to rock. We know he likes a tight group that he knows everything about. That's the way Klopp works. If you mess, you're out. If you pull your weight, do your work, you're in. And he'll give you that famous Klopp hug, which we'd all absolutely love. And once you get that hug, that's the sign of approval. But that's the only thing then in the back of my mind that's making me say he won't bring anybody in for that very fact. Because if you bring someone in, sometimes it can upset the apple cart, and knock a few things. You asked the question, are we short? Possibly, if injuries come in, but who knows? We mightn't get injuries. We have Thiago, Fabinho, Hendo. That seems to be the famous three we want, but they won't play every game. They just won't be able to. You've Milli Vanilli on the juice. That guy is just unbelievable. Signed a new year contract. He's ready to rock. Curtis Jones, can he step up? That's another big question. Can Curtis Jones step up? I think that's a big question that needs to be asked. And Naby Lad, can he stay fit? There's another bloody question that needs to be asked. But I mean, these are all thrown up into the lap of the gods. Nobody knows. But if you're asking me right now, the squad we have right now, ready to rock, Fulham kickoff Saturday, am I happy? I'm over the moon.
Yeah. Dave, have you ever considered being an announcer for WWE? I think it would be a fantastic fit. Have you ever considered?
Say I have a radio voice live. Did you ever watch Transformers, the cartoon?
Yeah, I did.
Do you remember Optimus Prime?
You got
my son.
I think you got the voice. You got the voice for the radio. Nidhi's got the face for the radio, Dave.
I'll do the narration. Welcome to Menace the Monk 98 FM live.
With Dave's energy, man, the new season is starting, Nidhi. I think this Fulham now. Nidhi, Fulham. Let's take the lineups, Nidhi. I know you don't do predictions, but do you want to predict the lineup for Fulham, Nidhi?
I think Alisson comes in. The rest of the lineup is the same.
Yeah, I go Alisson, the Brazilian Ali, Allison in Wonderland, he be in goal, straight back in. Then you've got Matip, Van Dijk, Robbo, Trent. That seems to be our famous back five. Midfield, the three amigos. It has to be Thiago. What a Thiago Alcantara. He's just been on fire at the moment. Fabinho, Hendo club captain. And can you change Núñez, Salah, Diaz? I don't think you can. I think that's the 11.
Okay, so I think Nidhi, you went for Firmino, right? Because he started against Man City.
Yep. I'd go for Firmino.
That's the only thing you might say. Bobby or Núñez. But the reason I think Núñez starts is for the fact he got that goal late in the Community Shield. I think Klopp would want to continue his continuity, give him a good training session. I think we play behind closed doors tomorrow, I think, against Aston Villa. It's a closed doors match, just an 11 aside. So I think Klopp's working out different systems and stuff. But I'd start Núñez. I think Fulham would suit him as well. They play football. They'd be very open at the back.
That'll be interesting. That'll be really interesting, especially with Bobby's last year. His, I don't know how we're going to utilize Bobby Firmino as well, because Nidhi and me are big fans of Bobby Firmino. Everyone knows that Nidhi especially is a huge fan of Bobby. I personally would want to see Bobby start this game. Because you say Fulham play football, that's great, but that Bobby would also be very effective in his own way, because he would create those spaces for Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah. So it's a toss of a coin. I think it's great when Jota is fit as well. It makes the problem even more better for Jurgen Klopp. So I don't know what happens.
It's a great problem to have, lads. I think the Konate injury, I just seen something there. I don't think it's as bad as first thought. I think he'll be okay. Although I'd play Matt Van Dijk anyway, but
yeah, I wouldn't play Konate against Fulham. But yeah, coming to your point, I mean, and that kind of a problem of having 5 quality players, we didn't have this kind of a problem a lot of times, right? I mean, even when we have Salah, Mane, Firmino, it was pretty clear. I mean, if one of them went out because of injury or suspension or whatever, the drop off was quite severe. I don't think that is the case anymore, and this is an amazing sign of progress, according to me.
I mean, look, guys. I mean, I was interested last year in talking about the new season. I'm really anticipating it, but I'm even more anticipating it this season with the new signings and stuff, and young Carvalho, Núñez, even young Ramsey, who hasn't kicked the ball yet, but will, the fullback. Yeah. But I mean, just the squad we have, the hunger's there. We missed out on a point last year against City. I think we're going to go full throttle for the big two this year, League and Champions League. And I just hope we can win one. I want the league this year, lads. I want the league this year.
Yeah, that's especially Nidhi, the way it ended the league, Villa going 2-0 up. We were 1-1.
The manner was quite heartbreaking. Yeah.
We could smell the title, Nidhi. We could smell the title. Oh.
I was in Liverpool for the Champions League weekend. I flew off to Liverpool. And you were obviously in Paris, Menace, weren't you? And actually, the second best place to be would be Liverpool. So I was in Liverpool from Friday through till Sunday. I actually was flying out when Liverpool were flying in for the parade and the John Lennon. So they were flying in, I was flying out. But the weekend was unbelievable. But it would have been a lot better if he would have won the bloody thing. But sure, what can you do?
Yeah.
I think that's the lineup according to me. I think that's the lineup according to me against Fulham. But yeah, I think the manner in which we lost, and look, I mean, full credit to Stevie for making it a game against Man City, because no one expected that. No one expected that. I think his inexperience showed a little bit when he substituted Marvelous Nakamba. That's where I think Aston Villa lost the game. I watched that game, and I watched that replay, actually, not the game.
I hate watching. I hate rewatching stuff like that when you know the results.
Yeah, I mean, that one I just had to, and I just felt that once Marvelous Nakamba came on the field, basically Villa lost all control, and that's why they have gone for Kamara this particular window. Nakamba, I don't think he's up to the mark. So Stevie, big ups to him. He almost handed it to us.
I'll tell you what, it's a big season for Steven Gerrard this season now. I'll tell you that much. It's going to be a big season. Bit of pressure on him now. He's had time to settle in. There you go. He's had time to settle in. And I think a lot will be said about you. Tell me, I'll ask this question. I'll answer this question probably in May when we see where Aston Villa finish, because I think this is a big season for Stevie G.
I personally think, Dave, that there's a lot of chatter about Gerrard being our next manager and everything. I think this season,
I think Pep Linders will probably get it.
So I think that this particular season will lay the foundations of knowing whether Gerrard. I think in the next 3 to 4 years, we'll know if Gerrard is ready for a job this big. I love Stevie. I mean, of course, for us, he's God. But I think that, the Liverpool job is a bit too much for him right now. And the good part is that we have Klopp for the next 3-4 years, in which we will know if Gerrard is good enough for it or not.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's a big season. It's a huge season. I mean, it doesn't always work. Look at Lampard when he goes to Chelsea, being a legend of the club and stuff. And it doesn't always work, guys. Everybody's saying it might work. It's set in stone. It doesn't always work, and sometimes can ruin your legacy, in fact, if it goes sour. So you have to be careful.
Exactly.
I just wanted to add one point. We're speaking about the last day of the season and the heartbreak of the Premier League. Villa were 2-0 up. We were still drawing. There was no point during the last day of the season.
We were never mathematically winning the league, by the way.
Exactly my point. And we never put the pressure on Man City. If you remember, when Villa scored twice, there was a roar at Anfield both the times. But there was never a moment where they got scared, because they never heard, oh shit, Liverpool is leading. That in itself could have added so much more pressure. So much more pressure on Manchester City and at the Etihad. Can you imagine City are 2-0 down and they hear, oh shit, now Liverpool lead as well. Just psychologically, that would have made so much difference.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
It's still a heartbreak. It was a heartbreak. Champions League final was a heartbreak too. We've had 2 heartbreaks in the last 2 big games of the end of the season. Could have went either way. Menace, bit of luck. Could have went either way.
Could have, yeah. And that's the best thing, Dave. When you have someone like a Jurgen Klopp, after such games and after such moments, you just hear him speak. It just, no matter how sad you are, it just lifts you.
Yeah.
It just makes you so positive. I remember, Nidhi, if you remember, when we drew against Tottenham, Nidhi, Jurgen Klopp entered the press conference, Nidhi, and he said, why are we treating this as a funeral? I mean,
that's the level Klopp has brought this club to. We can't even draw games anymore. I suppose it's City. We have pushed City as much as City has pushed us. We've been both catalysts for each other, basically, in this league. And that's why it's 90 plus points now, which has never happened before. To have any chance of winning the league, you've got to get into the 90s, which is a ridiculous amount of points. We only lost 2 league games. West Ham and Leicester City away last year, they lost 3. We lost 2 and we still lost the league by 1 point, guys.
Yeah.
1 bloody point. And the other thing about last season was, the biggest thing to come out last season was Jurgen Klopp signing that contract extension. That was the most important contract extension and signing Liverpool have made in the last 30 years. Never mind Mo Salah extensions, never mind Diaz, Núñez, whatever. Jurgen Klopp contract extension is the biggest thing to happen to that club in the last few years.
And he didn't take a pay raise. He didn't. Do you know that? Like, he declined the pay raise.
No, he was frozen.
Yeah, the pay raise that was supposed to be given to him, he said, just give it to my team, his management team.
Different level. He's different level. He understands the city. He understands the players. He understands the fans, the ground. I mean, Dave, he's like Shankly. He gets it.
Dave, in India, on the religious side, there is a concept that I don't know if you're aware of the Hindu concept of rebirth.
But reincarnation.
Yeah, but it's said that if you do good deeds in your past birth, you can be awarded.
Yeah.
So I think as Liverpool fans, we might have done some good deeds to have Jurgen Klopp as our manager in our lifetime. I
Well,
mean,
listen,
it's just
Liverpool have such a history. We've had a lot of heartache in our history. Remember the history heartbreak we've had in Hillsborough, Heysel.
Hi, sir.
We've had a lot of heartbreak. We've had a lot of ups. We've had a lot of downs. And that's what comes with Liverpool Football Club. If you're a fan of Liverpool football, if you're a real fan of Liverpool Football Club, you understand. And not being a TikTok fan or an Instagram fan that won't even be able to name 3 players off the bloody team. I'm on about the guys who read the history, know the club, know the fans. That's what you get with Liverpool. And that's the journey. That's as important as winning.
Yeah. It certainly feels, of course, the team is doing well, but it certainly feels great and right now to be a Liverpool supporter. Everything just makes sense, Even when you are negative, you just realize the larger picture. Hey, things are okay. You get that vibe. Dave, are you going to be traveling often to Liverpool in the coming season to watch?
Well, I'm from Dublin, which is not far from Liverpool. It's only about 40 minutes in a plane. You can even go over on a boat if you want, but the plane is easier. I'm going to get over as much as I can. It's very hard to get tickets, guys. Even me in the know, I know everybody, but it's so hard to get tickets. It really is. But I'm definitely going over because I know everybody over there. I know everybody.
Gurshan, we'll take your question, bro. Come on. I mean, there was a conversation going. I didn't want to interrupt that. Don't. So, Gurshan is asking a question, and let me put it in front of both you guys. How do you rate Jose Mourinho's latest signing? Follow Dybala changing how the thing was at Man United. How do you rate his latest? Are you asking about the transfer? It's obviously a major coup for AS Roma. I think Dybala is a fantastic player. I think the fact that he stayed in Italy is going to only help Mourinho and Roma.
Did you guys see the unveiling of Diablo sitting on the steps? Did you see that? The Roma unveiling. That was just like something out of a Roman film back in the 2,000 years ago. Wasn't it something like that? One of these epic historical sort of things. It was unbelievable.
Apparently he's outsold Ronaldo's jerseys.
Wow.
Is he that good? Wow. He's a decent player. He's not Ronaldo level, I don't think. He's not.
No, he's not. He's not. Player. Obviously, he's not. Obviously, he's not. But I think that Roma, obviously, a fantastic club, big fan base. They were not expecting something like this to happen. Obviously, they've been away from glory for some time now. Although they did win the Conference League last season. I think Manas phone ko mute kar de. I think us pe echo hai. I think that I think they have a very good chance with Mourinho. Mourinho's second season is always good, but wow, I mean, I don't know. I don't
like Mourinho as a person, though. I really don't like him at all. I just don't like him. You know what I mean? I can't say much about him, but I don't like him as a person. He's just he gets under my skin. I don't know.
But speaking of the team that he's building, I mean, Tammy Abraham had a great season last campaign. I'm just looking at the team. Zaniolo is a great prospect that they have. Now they've signed Dybala, so they're going to play that 3 up top, and I'm just looking more at the team. Pellegrini, the captain, is so good in midfield. Cristante is a good player. Their 3 centre-backs are good in Smalling, Mancini, Ibanez. Nidhi Tui... Exactly.
Is another name
to that. It can make things interesting, And Nidhi, you were saying recently, I think in a live or something, Serie A this season is going to be super open, man.
Open. Yeah.
So you never know what
the league that was notorious for being completely one-sided has suddenly, all of a sudden, opened up. I'm loving it. I mean, open leagues are obviously something that we do like. But it's going to be interesting.
But coming back to our league, is there a third team, Dave, for you that can challenge City or Liverpool?
Well, I mean, okay, everybody's talking about Spurs with Conte and they've bought well and stuff like that. But I just look at Liverpool. What was it? 18 points. There was an 18-point difference between second and third last year, guys. I mean, Liverpool and City are just different levels at the moment. I can't see anybody in the immediate term bridging an 18-point gap, because I think Liverpool and City will still get 90-plus points again. It just keep going. It's ridiculous. Spurs, you would think, out of the group would be the only ones to get close to them. But can they get 18? Can they make up an 18-point gap? I don't think so. I think there will still be maybe a 10, 12-point gap between the second and the third place, and then it'd be probably tighter between third, fourth, and fifth. But you never know. I mean, didn't Spurs do the Dublin City last year? I'd like them to do it again this year. They have a really good record against Manchester City. But what's good for us as well is if that catching group at the back, the likes of Arsenal with Jesus, the likes of United with Ten Hag as manager, the likes of Chelsea, if they can get their act together with the likes of Sterling and stuff, and Spurs, if they can start taking points off City as well, that will help us. You know what I mean? People used to be afraid to play City. They usually lay over, except for maybe Spurs, and would give the bloody points and just walk away. Whereas if the league is a bit more competitive at the top, okay, they'll give us tougher games as well, but they'll also give City tougher games, and I think ultimately it'll help us. But I think Spurs, to answer to your question, I think Spurs out of that group would be, you would think, would be the only ones that would have any chance. But
I also think you see, the question with Conte is also, how long is he going to stay? I mean, he's unpredictable. I mean, he might. I mean, it's not like, I wish for that kind of a thing to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if if Conte says, there's some other club that is interested, or maybe he just doesn't get along with Levy and whatever. They've supported him in the transfer window so far. They've spent a lot of money.
He doesn't hang around, as you said. I wouldn't be surprised if he went next summer. He just doesn't hang around if the proper team came in for him. I mean, he could finish third next summer and be 10, 15 points behind the second place and say, well, I'm not going to even catch them next year. The gap's just too bloody big. You know what I mean? Depends on what he does, I suppose, next season. Look, the good thing about the thing is fresh opportunities, fresh journeys, everything's fresh, a clean slate, new season. We're all looking forward to it. Possibilities everywhere. As a fan of any fan, even Nottingham Forest coming up, Bournemouth, Fulham, they're all looking forward. One kick is all it takes. Possibilities. So that's what I'm looking for, baby. And I am over the moon at the moment.
We all are over the moon at the moment, guys. Please, I've just posted. I'm going to post it again. This is the link to Dave's channel. As you can see, he is just so passionate about our club, just like we are. And apologies if there are people out there saying why we're not speaking in Hindi. It's because Dave has joined us, and we decided to shift fully to English, just because, of course, he needs to understand what we're talking about as well. But as usual, we'll speak in English and Hindi later on in the future as well.
But don't worry, Dave's taking Hindi lessons. Soon you'll see the same energy in Hindi.
Well, I don't know about that now, but I can hardly speak English. Never mind Hindi, for God's sake.
Can you speak Gaelic? Can you speak Gaelic?
My wife and child can, actually. My wife's done a degree in Irish translation.
That's a tough language, isn't it?
And my little girl can speak. She's in an Irish English school, if you know, they speak mostly Irish, Gaeilge type of thing. I know a few words in it, but not much to be fair. Dog in Irish is Modra.
Wow. Damn, that's good.
Luna, stop that. Stop. I do a few impressions, don't worry about that. But,
wow.
Can you do one of
Luke Skywalker, my son.
That's big.
What the hell is happening, dude?
Dude, I never in my wildest dreams thought, Darth Vader would make an appearance on Menace in the Monk. Like, wow, this is...
well, what was it called? The Dark Menace, the Menace.
Yeah, he was called the Dark Menace. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Europa League, guys? It's very interesting. Europa League has always been very interesting, yeah. Europa has been a very hotly contested competition for a lot of years.
I'll tell you what, the Europa League, the only problem with the Europa League is it's Thursday night football, guys, and you have to play Sunday. You will never see a Saturday game. And that can disrupt you. I think it's a disruptor more than anything. I know there's teams, the likes of United will not, I'm not being funny, will not like playing Thursday nights. It's as simple as that. They will not like playing Thursday. They really, team of their size and stature, should be in the Champions League. And the fact they're playing Thursday, which I have a few United fans, and I do make a decision to say to them, enjoy your Thursday nights. You know what I mean? And they don't like that.
But Dave, do you think Ronaldo will be playing Thursday nights next season?
I hope so. Look, he should be playing Champions League. I mean, obviously he wanted to move, and that's the reason he wants to be playing Champions League. But look, it's secondary. Everyone wants it. Any top elite player wants to play Champions League. It's as simple as that, guys. You know you've hit it if you're playing the Champions League. That's where the money is. That's where the television rights are. That's where everything is. It's not at the Europa League. Europa League has come on, but you play a lot of football. It's Thursday nights. You play. It's basically a mini league. It's a mini league. And you do travel all over the shop to get there. So I don't think, I mean, he'd probably be playing in Kazakhstan away, and Ronaldo will not want to be playing in Kazakhstan away or whatever it is, that way type of thing. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting whether he even stays or not. I don't know what's going to happen with Ronaldo. People can't pay his wages, so where is he going to go?
Yeah, 500K per week apparently. I think that is why many teams are hesitating from signing Cristiano Ronaldo. Nidhi, it's been 1.5 hours. Do you want to end this now? Because it's been a pretty long live. Dave has made it amazing for us.
This has been our magnum opus. Let me put it that way.
You should clip some of the best bits and put them up on YouTube.
Yeah. Your announcement about your announcement about Diogo Jota is definitely going on as one of the clips for sure.
and then Dave being bit by a dog.
And Darth Vader has to be up there. But yes, thank you so much, guys. Dave, before we let you go, since the stream is about Diogo Jota, quick prediction: how many goals is Diogo Jota going to score next season?
Well, hopefully he's back in about 2-3 weeks, back training and ready to rock. I think Jota will be more used this season because of the 5-sub rule as an impact sub, maybe last 20-25. We're blessed up front. But I think Jota, if stays fit for most of the season, can get 15 plus.
15 plus. Manas, what are you saying?
Yeah, I think we can expect similar numbers from Jota and Diaz, from 10 to 15, Firmino 10-ish, 20 each, 20 plus, certainly for more. So I think we're going to have goals distributed. Jota is not going to start each and every game. So I think 15 will be a good number for him. He will assist as well. That's what he does. I'm confident, and I'm just over the moon that Jota has signed a new deal. 2027. We've got Darwin Núñez is going to stay till 27, Luis Diaz till 26, Jota till 27. Nidhi, your final thoughts before we end it?
Definitely. I think Diogo Jota is going to be a lot more important this season. I've said it earlier. I've always said that he sort of flies under the radar because of some other players being that good, and it's a blessing as a Liverpool fan to have players like Diogo Jota go under the radar. I think he's going to be very important this season. I hope he stays fit. I hope because he's got the quality. He's a fox in the box. Personally, I think he's the best finisher that we have at the club right now. So, but before we go, Apur, thank you so much for the super chat here. That's really kind of you. He says randomly landed on this channel a couple of months ago and have been listening to more and more of your content and absolutely loving it. Keep up the good work. Cheers. Thank you so much, Apur. That's really sweet of you. But before you guys go, Dave's chat will be there in the comment section later on. Even if you're watching this later on and not right now, please go ahead and subscribe to Dave's channel. It is absolutely brilliant, and we love it, and we'd love to have Dave more on Menace and the Monk.
Guys, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me on. Big season coming up. We're all looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of content from you guys, from me, from all Liverpool channels. The Liverpool family continues. I'm going to enjoy the journey. Join us on the Anfield Express. Jump on the train. You never know where the train stops. Where will the station be? Will it be number 20? Will it be number 7? Will it be the mall? Who knows? Choo-choo.
But one thing is for sure, that one kiss is all it takes. Okay, just one kiss is all it takes. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Dave, it's been a pleasure, and we hope that you call us to your channel as well. We would like to get exposed to your audience as well. It'll be absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. Anytime,
And
guys. Anytime.
And we promise not to speak in Hindi.
Cheers. Stay safe.
See you, Dave.
Just the bad words. All right. Good night.